Hey, you're listening to Marketing Out Loud, a daily podcast where I share advice, stories, and insights to help you build a thriving consulting or professional services practice. To subscribe to the show, head over to marketingoutloud.fm. You've got two jobs, and that may come as a surprise. You know you have one job. You have the job of being the consultant, the accountant, the lawyer, the coach, the chiropractor, the service provider, whatever the thing is that you do. You know that you've got that one job. That's a job that you know well. You've trained to do that job. You've spent years doing that job. That's how people see you. They see you as the X, whatever your job is. And you've got a ton of experience helping clients with the thing that you do. Now, I'm not going to teach you to do that job because you know more about that job than I ever will because you're the expert. And I know that when a client comes in and they hire you, then you do a good job of doing whatever it is that you do. But you've got a second job, and the second job is critical. And if you don't pay attention to the second job, then the first job, to be honest, isn't really worth a whole lot. And that second job is you're also the marketer. That is your job to bring in clients. It's your job to bring in leads. It's your job to make sure that there are clients who are coming to you, who need your help, who you can serve. And I'm not going to say that the marketer is more important than the other job. Actually, I am going to say that. And here's why. Because your service that you perform is only useful if there are clients who can avail themselves of those services, right? So no clients, no service, no value exchange, no money, no business. And unfortunately, I mean, this should be a little kick in the pants for you. Unfortunately, I think in every market, if you look at your competition, there are probably people out there who are not as good as you are at your craft, but are better marketers than you. And they're probably doing better than you are. I know that's true for me. There are some people that have just done the marketing thing better than I have, and they're not as good as I am. And I know that, but they focus on the marketing. And, even though I know I deliver a better outcome and deliver better experience, better value to my clients, they have bigger businesses. Now, I'm not suggesting that you sacrifice the client service or the outcomes or the value delivery. Not at all. You want to double down on that as much as possible. However, don't do it at the expense of the marketing, because that second job that you have, the more important job, that's what brings in business. That's what brings in the checks. That's what brings in revenue. And the more revenue that you have, the more time you can carve out to spend on the things that really matter in your business, the things that you care about, the things that move the needle. And I think that the idea of thinking about it in terms of two jobs is, for many of you, I think, a very groundbreaking idea, because up until now, you think of yourself in kind of a one-dimensional way, that you are the X, whatever it is, consultant, accountant, lawyer, coach, whatever you are, trainer. But what I'm saying is you're also the Y. You're the marketer too. And when you think about it that way, then this whole notion of, well, I don't have time for marketing kind of becomes a little bit silly, doesn't it? Because you wouldn't say, oh, I don't have time for client work. What do you mean you don't have time for client work? That's what you would do. That's your job. If you don't have time for client work, you better make time for client work, because what else are you doing if not client work? And that would be a ludicrous thing to say, wouldn't it? As a professional service provider, to say I don't have time for client work would be absurd. Well, I think to say that I don't have time for marketing is just as absurd. I think that's just as crazy, because marketing is part of your job. It's your job to bring in business just as much as it is your job to serve clients. So if you don't have time for marketing, you're not doing your job. I've got a bunch of clients right now that are going through my coaching program, and they're right in the middle of it. Right in the thick of it, right around module 5 and 6, where it really begins to get a little bit overwhelming, admittedly. And they're telling me this. So look, this is all great, but it's a lot of work, and I'm struggling with it. And my response to them is very simple. This is your job. And I know that's, that's kind of tough. I put it in nicer terms. But ultimately, this is your job. You've got to do this one way or the other. If you don't do this, you're not doing your job as a business owner. You may be doing your job as the consultant, and your clients will love you for it. But if you don't do your job as the marketer and the business owner, there won't be many other clients around to love you for it. So that's something I want you to think about, is you've got two jobs. You've got the value that you provide to your clients, the service you deliver, and then you've got the job of marketing that to other clients and to bring in business. And I want you to think about, well, how much time are you dedicating to each of those jobs? And if it's too imbalanced, then I think that's where you need to begin. Hey, thanks for listening. Do me a favor, if you like what you hear, go on iTunes and leave us a rating and a review, because it helps more people discover the show. Thanks so much.